If you worry about my baby mom, I don't give a yo. If you ever was to talk to nigga, she'll tell you that.
I would never talk to that bitch. That bitch ain't on my level. She ain't the fuck nothing to me, and she never been in my circle. She never been around me. I didn't know that bitch.
And you've been bringing it up. So now I'm gonna give you what you want. To touch you again, I'm never physically gonna hurt you. You marry this nigga, I'm blowing his fucking head off on everything I love. I'm going back to prison on everything. Man, I don't give a okay? I told you stop throwing it in my face. If this is what you want to do, go in and do it. Stop throwing it in my face. All right. I just left you 2 months ago. Stop throwing it in my face before I kill a nigga. This is what I'm telling you because that's what my mind said. I will go there.
Not in front of my son. Those were the last words whispered inside Platinum Cut's barbershop on West Leahy Avenue. The security cameras captured life's final countdown. 11:45 a.m., a mother and son walk in, her smile bright as the dreams she'd built from nothing. 11:52 a.m., the door chimes again, this time marking death's arrival. 11:53 a.m., 3 shots shatter a Saturday morning peace. 11:54 a.m., a Philadelphia success story ends on a barbershop floor, leaving behind 3 children, a devastated community, and an empire built on boundless ambition. In just 9 minutes on October 7, 2023, Platinum Cuts transformed from a neighborhood sanctuary into a crime scene that would haunt Philadelphia's memory forever. Behind the yellow crime scene tape lay the story of a woman whose ambition knew no bounds. At just 17, while most teens were navigating high school drama, she was already striding through college hallways with purpose. By 20, she had earned her credentials as a registered nurse, but that was merely the foundation of what would become a Philadelphia legacy. Her entrepreneurial spirit birthed the Kisses brand, an empire that touched every corner of the city's social fabric. What started as a small venture exploded into a constellation of businesses: edible candles that filled homes with sweet aromas, custom t-shirts that captured urban style, and events that became the heartbeat of Philadelphia's social scene. Her open MIC nights discovered hidden talents, while her pool parties became legendary summer gatherings. The Kisses Kitchen classes transformed amateur cooks into confident chefs, and her DI seasoning line became a staple in thousands of Philadelphia kitchens. But success never hardened her heart. Even as she ventured into real estate and home care services, she remained deeply committed to her community. Her networking events became bridges of opportunity, her pop-up shops launched countless small businesses, and her charitable contributions quietly changed lives. Between managing multiple ventures, she still found time to mentor aspiring entrepreneurs, particularly young women dreaming of their own empires. That Saturday morning at Platinum Cuts should have been just another day in her extraordinary life. Instead, it became her last chapter, written in tragedy by an ex-husband whose violent past had cast a shadow over her bright future. As Philadelphia recorded its 37th domestic violence fatality of 2023, the community lost more than just a successful businesswoman. They lost a dream builder, a hope giver, and a mother whose legacy would forever be intertwined with both triumph and tragedy. Through the shattered calm of Platinum Cuts, a name emerged that would forever be etched in Philadelphia's memory: Tiffany Natifa Wade. At just 40 years old, her story would become more than another headline. It would serve as a devastating reminder of domestic violence's brutal reach. Her alleged killer, Armand Hilton, didn't just end a life that day. As investigators would soon discover, he harbored even darker intentions that would send shockwaves through the community. Born and raised in the close-knit community of Coatesville, Pennsylvania, Tiffany's roots ran deep in a state she would later help transform. North Philadelphia, her chosen home, seemed a fitting stage for her story, a city famous for its black activism and resilience since the 1930s, where African-American residents had long fought for equality and better working conditions. Like those pioneers before her, Tiffany was a fighter, a dreamer, and a force for change. Her journey into healthcare wasn't just a career choice, it was a calling. At Methodist Hospital, she made history as their youngest graduate, earning her registered nursing degree at just 20 years old. Her accomplishment didn't just break records, it shattered expectations and set new standards for what young African-American women could achieve in the medical field. Her classmates nicknamed her the Prodigy, a title she carried with humility while serving her community. But of all her roles, nurse, entrepreneur, community leader, none brought her more joy than being mother to her 3 children. Videos from her social media showed a devoted mother who turned ordinary moments into adventures, helping with homework while cooking dinner, turning weekend errands into treasure hunts, and never missing a school event despite her packed schedule. Her Instagram bio proudly read, "Mother first, everything else second. At Methodist Hospital's nursing school, Tiffany's brilliance couldn't be contained by conventional timelines. A moment that captured both her precociousness and the peculiarity of her situation came during a clinical rotation, when a fellow student noted the irony. Here's Tiffany, qualified to administer life-saving medications and handle controlled substances, but legally too young to join us for a celebratory drink. This paradox became a running joke among her classmates, but it underscored a deeper truth. Her extraordinary achievements were outpacing even legal age restrictions. The nickname Miss Kisses wasn't just a moniker. It was the foundation of what would become her business empire. Born from her naturally affectionate personality and her habit of greeting everyone with warm hugs and kisses, the name would eventually grace storefronts across Philadelphia. But those who knew her best understood that behind every kiss was a shrewd business mind constantly calculating the next move. Her entrepreneurial strategy was nothing short of brilliant. Using Kisses as her parent company, she crafted a diverse portfolio of businesses that showcased her versatility and business acumen. From the buzzing chairs of her hair salon to the aromatic kitchen of her catering company, each venture bore her signature touch of excellence. Her home healthcare services married her nursing expertise with entrepreneurial spirit, while her forward-thinking CBD and hemp brand demonstrated her ability to spot emerging markets. This business structure wasn't just clever, it was masterful. By registering Kisses as the parent company, she created a unified brand while launching multiple ventures, each feeding into the others. Her catering service would provide food for her salon's client appreciation days, while her healthcare connections helped market her CBD products to patients seeking alternative therapies. Every business seemed to amplify the others, creating a symphony of success that resonated throughout North Philadelphia. The Kisses empire became a Philadelphia phenomenon, with Tiffany's magnetic personality at its heart. Security footage from local banks would later show her distinctive style as she conducted business, always immaculately dressed, turning even routine deposits into fashion statements. "Pretty Kisses here" became her signature greeting, instantly recognizable to everyone from street vendors to high-end boutique owners. Her business portfolio showcased remarkable diversity and market awareness. Each venture filled a unique niche. Kisses Open MIC nights gave voice to local talent, while her pop-up shops transformed empty storefronts into bustling marketplaces. The Kisses pool parties became legendary summer events, drawing crowds from across the tri-state area. Never one to shy away from taboo markets, she even ventured into adult novelties with a discreet line of intimate products, understanding that diversification was key to business growth. But Tiffany wasn't content with just local success. Her virtual presence through TLC Kisses Zoom sessions kept her connected during the pandemic, while Kisses kitchen classes turned home cooks into culinary entrepreneurs. The launch of her DI seasoning line caused such a sensation that local grocery stores couldn't keep it in stock. Even as her businesses flourished and her taste for luxury evolved, she never lost sight of her community roots. Her charitable contributions weren't publicized affairs but quiet acts of generosity, paying for nursing students' textbooks, funding small business startups, or ensuring local children had new school supplies. This wasn't just success, it was success with soul. Success for Tiffany wasn't just about personal indulgence, it was about lifting others. Perhaps no moment captured this better than when she presented her father with a $110,000 check on his birthday. The video of that evening showed more than just a financial gesture. It revealed the heart of who Tiffany was. "The best man I've ever met in my entire life," her caption read, voice thick with emotion as she added, "He not only took care of me at 20 years old but my siblings and all my friends too." The dinner wasn't just a celebration, it was a daughter's testament to the foundation of love that had built her empire. Her generosity extended beyond family. When her children asked for the latest toys or trending fashion, Tiffany's response was always the same: dreams don't have price tags. Yet she made sure these indulgences came with lessons about hard work and appreciation. Her social media would often show her children volunteering at community events or helping with her businesses, learning the value of earning what you receive. But beneath the designer labels and business success, Tiffany's core identity was rooted in her Islamic faith. In a world of flash and glamour, she found her center in prayer and religious study. Her trips to Dubai weren't just luxury getaways, they were spiritual pilgrimages. Photos showed her in modest dress, standing before ancient mosques, her face serene with the peace she found there. Friends spoke of how she would spend hours teaching others to read the Quran, her patience endless as she guided new converts through their spiritual journey. Faith isn't just what you believe, she often told her mentees. It's how you live. She proved this by balancing her fast-paced entrepreneurial life with dedicated prayer times, never missing a Friday prayer despite her packed schedule. During Ramadan, she would host community iftars at her businesses, bringing together people of all faiths to share in the breaking of the fast. Yet behind this carefully crafted life of success, spirituality, and generosity, storm clouds were gathering. Few knew of the turbulent relationship with Armand Hilton from Chester, the father of her youngest child, Storm. Their marriage, which had once seemed promising, held secrets that would eventually explode into violence. While Tiffany posted about business triumphs and family celebrations, a darker narrative was unfolding, one that would ultimately lead to that fatal Saturday morning at Platinum Cuts. Behind the polished veneer of Tiffany's social media presence, the luxury shopping sprees, business successes, and family moments, lurked a shadow she carefully kept hidden from public view. Armand Hilton wasn't just her husband and father to young Storm. He was a man whose violent past would ultimately shatter her carefully constructed world. The true scope of Armand's criminal history reads like a noir thriller. In March 2002, a case rocked Chester that would reveal his capacity for calculated violence. Along with 2 accomplices, he orchestrated the kidnapping of a 17-year-old boy outside a local store. Their target wasn't random. They had learned the teen's family had recently received a $100,000 settlement. With cold precision, they held the terrified teenager for ransom, demanding $50,000 for his life. This incident would prove to be just one chapter in Armand's extensive criminal catalogue. On Tiffany's bustling social media accounts, where she shared everything from business triumphs to family celebrations, Armand was conspicuously absent. Not a single photo, not one mention. This deliberate omission spoke volumes about her awareness of the danger he represented. While she posted photos with her children, attended business gatherings, and shared moments of spiritual reflection, she was simultaneously navigating a precarious domestic situation that threatened everything she'd built. The collision of their worlds came through an unexpected channel: real estate investment. When Armand suddenly came into possession of a substantial sum of money, the source of which raised red flags, he sought to legitimize it through property investments. But with his extensive criminal record barring him from direct involvement, he turned to Tiffany's clean reputation and successful business profile as a front. For Tiffany, this wasn't just about money, it was about risk to everything she'd built. The prospect of being labeled an accomplice to potential money laundering threatened not just her business empire, but her role as a community leader and mother. The tension between maintaining her public image and protecting herself from Armand's criminal entanglements was becoming unbearable. But before she could fully extricate herself from this dangerous situation, Armand would once again find himself in handcuffs, this time for charges that would set in motion a chain of events leading to that fatal October morning. Prison walls couldn't contain Armand's influence over Tiffany's life. While he served his sentence, she made the bold decision that would ultimately seal her fate: filing for divorce. Though her public reason remained diplomatic, those close to her whispered that she couldn't bear the thought of her young son, Storm, growing up in the shadow of his father's criminal legacy. "I won't let history repeat itself," she confided to a close friend, according to later investigations. The real estate empire built on dangerous foundations began to crumble. What Armand had viewed as a strategic partnership, using Tiffany's clean reputation to invest what many suspected were ill-gotten gains, she saw as a noose tightening around her neck. During his incarceration, she had done more than just move on. She had methodically begun untangling herself from his web, a decision that would prove fatal. Her remarriage during Armand's imprisonment wasn't just about finding new love, it was about reclaiming control. But with this control came consequences. Under Pennsylvania law, her new marriage affected property rights, effectively cutting Armand out of assets he claimed were rightfully his. His demands for property transfers went unanswered as Tiffany continued building her legitimate business empire, posting glimpses of her happiness on social media, each post another twist of the knife in Armand's growing rage. The warning signs began appearing in her social media like breadcrumbs of impending doom. Between posts about business successes and family celebrations, cryptic messages hinted at a darkening shadow in her life. "Sometimes the biggest threats come from those who once claimed to love you," she wrote in one post, later deleted. Her Instagram stories became a digital diary of mounting fear, though few recognized the signs for what they were. Armand's reaction to her transformation from his wife to an independent woman beyond his control manifested in increasingly menacing ways. His social media posts, filled with thinly veiled threats and possessive rage, painted a picture of a man whose sense of betrayal had curdled into something far more sinister. "I look at you different," he posted, his words carrying weight that would only be fully understood after the tragedy at Platinum Cuts. For those who knew his violent history, particularly the kidnapping case, these weren't just angry words from a scorned ex-husband, they were warning shots. But in a city where domestic disputes often went unreported until it was too late, Tiffany's attempts to navigate this dangerous situation while maintaining her public persona would prove to be a deadly balancing act. His social media posts became increasingly unhinged, reading like a countdown to catastrophe. "I'm give you what you want. I'm never going to hurt you. You marry this man. I'm BL on everything I love. I'm going back to prison." Each message was a red flag fluttering in an increasingly violent wind. "Told you stop throwing it in my face," he posted, the digital equivalent of a growl. "If this what you're going to do, go and do it. Stop throwing it in my face. I just left you 2 months ago." Those who later analyzed these posts would see them for what they were, a predator circling his prey. But in real time, they blended into the background noise of social media drama, their true menace obscured by the everyday rhythm of likes and shares. While Tiffany's inner circle sensed something was wrong, no one could grasp the full scope of the gathering storm. October 7th dawned like any other autumn Saturday in Philadelphia. Security cameras would later piece together the tragic timeline. At 11:45 a.m., Tiffany arrived at Platinum Cuts with her young son, her Mercedes easily visible in the parking lot camera footage. She was wearing a designer tracksuit, her hair freshly done, always camera ready, always the entrepreneur. But another camera caught a darker detail, a black Dodge Charger circling the block 3 times before parking across the street. Inside the barbershop, life proceeded with its usual Saturday rhythm. The buzz of clippers, the laugh of children, the casual conversation about Eagles football, all normal, until it wasn't. Just before 2 p.m., the emergency dispatch crackled with urgency. "Shots fired, 2500 block of West Lehigh Avenue, Platinum Cuts Barbershop." Responding officers found a scene that would haunt them for years to come. Tiffany lay motionless, her body bearing the brutal signature of close-range shots to her torso and head. Her son, still wearing the barber's cape, had witnessed everything, a final cruelty in an already unconscionable act. At 2:07 p.m., medical personnel pronounced her dead at the scene. The woman who had built an empire from nothing, who had helped countless others achieve their dreams, was gone at just 40 years old. The investigation moved quickly. Witnesses described seeing Armand Hilton enter the barbershop with calculated precision, his face a mask of deadly determination. Their volatile history, documented in police reports and social media posts, painted a clear picture of escalating tensions. While Tiffany had tried to build a new life, Armand had been plotting her destruction, his rage simmering beneath a surface of threatening messages and stalking behavior. As police secured the crime scene, Armand had already fled, leaving behind a community in shock and a family shattered by violence. The black Dodge Charger was found abandoned 3 blocks away, its engine still warm, a killer's escape vehicle turned evidence in what would become one of Philadelphia's most haunting domestic violence cases. The manhunt for Armand Hilton transformed from a single murder investigation into something far more sinister. The Philadelphia Police Department's wanted poster painted a chilling picture: murder, robbery, firearms violations, a $20,000 reward for information leading to his capture. Armed and extremely dangerous, the bulletin warned, his mugshot staring back from screens and street corners across the city. But Armand's reign of terror wasn't finished. Just 2 days after Tiffany's murder, on October 9, 2023, Philadelphia would witness what appeared to be a cruel echo of the barbershop tragedy. Shante Whitaker, 34, another mother of one of Armand's children, was gunned down in what initially appeared to be a random drive-by shooting. The timing and circumstances, however, told a different story. The scene at Shantae's home would add another layer of trauma to an already devastating narrative. Her daughter, fresh from the shower, followed the echoes of gunfire only to find her mother lying motionless in the living room. "This is not a scene any child should ever see," her great-grandfather, Josh Whitaker, would later tell investigators, his voice breaking as he described Shantae as a young, beautiful lady who never got in any trouble. The connection between the 2 murders sent shockwaves through Philadelphia's law enforcement community. What had begun as a domestic violence homicide was evolving into something more complex and sinister. Was Shantae's death a message, retaliation, or part of a larger plan that investigators were just beginning to uncover? As detectives pieced together the puzzle, a disturbing pattern emerged. The robbery charges mentioned in Armand's warrant suggested there was more to his rampage than just personal vengeance. Each new detail painted a picture of a man who wasn't just fleeing from justice, he was on a mission, though its full scope remained ominously unclear. The impact rippled through Philadelphia's communities. 2 mothers dead, multiple children traumatized, families shattered. The tragedy had expanded beyond the walls of Platinum Cuts, leaving a trail of grief that touched every corner of the city. As Josh Whitaker put it, We're not just losing lives, we're losing generations to this violence. In Philadelphia's criminal justice system, first-degree murder carries the weight of either life imprisonment or death, though the latter punishment has become increasingly controversial in recent years. But for the children of Tiffany Natifa Wade, no punishment could restore what was stolen from them that October morning at Platinum Cuts. The barbershop security footage, now a crucial piece of evidence, captured more than just a murder. It recorded the exact moment childhood innocence shattered. Storm, Tiffany's youngest, witnessed something no child should ever see: the violent transformation of a father from parent to perpetrator. Child psychologists who later reviewed the case warned of the profound psychological impact such trauma could have. When a child witnesses a parent killing another parent, it creates a unique form of psychological damage, noted Dr. Sarah Bennett, a Philadelphia-based trauma specialist. They're not just losing one parent to death, but another to an act of violence. It fractures their entire understanding of love and safety. The digital breadcrumbs of impending violence, Armand's threatening social media posts, his veiled warnings, his escalating behavior, sparked heated debate throughout Philadelphia. Some argued that Tiffany should have sought immediate police protection after the first threat. But such criticism ignores the complex psychology of domestic violence, where past intimacy often clouds present danger. As one domestic violence counselor noted, when someone once shared your life, your bed, your dreams, it's human nature to believe they still retain some humanity toward you. Perhaps the most troubling aspect of this tragedy is how preventable it seemed in hindsight. Armand's lengthy criminal record raised serious questions about a system that repeatedly released a demonstrably violent offender back into society. Each charge, each arrest, each release marked a missed opportunity to prevent what happened at Platinum Cuts. The tragic irony wasn't lost on Philadelphia's law enforcement community. The same system designed to protect citizens had given a predator multiple chances to perfect his violence. But beneath the policy debates and system critiques lies a simpler, more heartbreaking truth. A mother who built an empire from nothing, who lifted others while climbing herself, who balanced faith with ambition and success with generosity, was gunned down in front of her child. Her dreams, her businesses, her plans for her children's future, all ended in a spray of bullets on a Saturday morning. For Tiffany's son, particularly Storm, who witnessed the horror, and Shantae's daughter, who found her mother, the impact runs deeper than visible wounds. Dr. Maria Hernandez, a child trauma specialist consulting on the case, explains, when children witness parental homicide, they experience what we call complex trauma. It's not just the loss of a parent, it's the violent shattering of their entire worldview. The psychological aftermath manifests in ways both subtle and profound. Trust, that delicate thread that connects us to others, becomes frayed almost beyond repair. Simple situations, a raised voice, a slammed door, even the buzz of hair clippers, can trigger flashbacks. School performance often plummets as the mind struggles to process what the heart cannot accept. These children don't just lose their past, Dr. Hernandez notes, they lose their imagined future. The road to healing demands more than just time. It requires a carefully orchestrated symphony of support, trauma-informed therapy, stable caregivers, and a community that understands the depth of the wound. For Storm and Shantae's daughter, recovery means learning to navigate a world that suddenly feels dangerous, unpredictable, and cruelly unfair. But beyond the immediate tragedy lies a series of systemic failures that demand examination. Armand's path from 2002 kidnapping charge to 2023 homicide reads like a checklist of missed opportunities. Each release from prison, each chance at rehabilitation, became instead another step toward October's violence. The question isn't just why Armand pulled the trigger, it's why a system designed to protect society repeatedly released a man whose escalating violence was well documented. Philadelphia's criminal justice system now faces hard questions. Should violent offenders with patterns of escalation be eligible for the same release considerations as other inmates? How do we balance rehabilitation with public safety? What resources could have helped Tiffany when those threatening social media posts began appearing? Perhaps the most haunting aspect of Tiffany's story is its preventability. Every threatening message, every stalking incident, every angry confrontation was a red flag flying in plain sight. Yet, like so many domestic violence victims, Tiffany likely minimized the danger, hoping the father of her child retained enough humanity to spare her life. It's a hope that cost her everything. As Philadelphia grapples with this tragedy, As two families bury their mothers, as children struggle to understand why daddy hurt mommy, we're left with questions that extend far beyond this single case. How many more Tiffanys must we lose before we recognize the patterns of escalating domestic violence? How many more children must bear witness to horror before we strengthen our systems of protection? Tiffany Natifa Wade's legacy shouldn't be defined by her final moments in platinum cuts. She was a nurse who healed, an entrepreneur who built, a mother who loved, and a dreamer who dared. Her story demands more than just justice, it demands change. In the end, perhaps the greatest tribute we can pay to Tiffany is to ensure her tragedy becomes a catalyst for transformation in how we handle domestic violence, criminal rehabilitation, and the protection of those who dare to break.